Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. Today is Thursday, July the 25th, 2024, and this is Flosstube number 82, I think. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to welcome you. This is a channel where I talk about all my cross stitch, and if you are returning to my channel, I'd like to welcome you back. Thanks so much for following along with what I am getting myself into. So I have a good amount to show. Well, I'd say medium amount to show. So show you my board, show you my whips, update my other boards, and we'll draw some new projects. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this is my board for the week. I worked on counting my whip of shame. I worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different projects. Hello, Gracie Lou. Oh my God. Say hi, Gracie. So I worked on 7 different projects. That's what you get for coming in here. You have to make an appearance. And I got a decent amount on each one of the ones I worked on, I would say. Yeah, so I'm happy with it. So my whip of shame, bless this nest, will not be a finish this month, unfortunately. I had high hopes at the beginning of July, but it's not going to happen. Hey, little Gracie. All right, get down. So let's go ahead and get into what I worked on. Okay, so I'll show you bless this nest first. So this is my whip of shame. If you've never seen my channel before, past few months I have been selecting a really old whip. Well, with y'all's help, because you're voting, I've been selecting a really old whip to work on about 100 stitches a day for that month. I've been able to finish one of them. This is the one I'm currently working on. This is Bless This Nest. It's a really old kit from Busilla. I've had it for 10 years now. It's very small. It's only 5 by 7, but it is technically a full coverage. Like the whole thing is covered in stitches. But this is what it looked like at the beginning of the week. And I got 611 stitches on it, and I just realized I left my little display board over there. That's okay, I'll just hold it up. And this is where it's at now. So I got 611 stitches on it. I want to say I worked I did this last time. I got where I worked at like incorrect. I want to say I mostly worked down here. And I got cat hair. I think I put some up here too. I want to say I put some up here. But the past, I don't remember now. I know I worked down here for sure, but I don't remember if I worked up here. You'll see it in the before picture. But as you can see, this definitely will not be a finish because I only have a week left of having this be my whip of shame. And there's still a long way to go. So, yeah, that's okay though. That's okay. I will keep working on it for another week, so we'll get about another 600 or 700 more stitches in it, and we'll go from there. So, next up is a new start. This is from I call it Year of Gnomes Stitch Along because that's what it was called when I purchased it, but I want to say now it's called Gnome a Month. This is from Cross Stitch for Everyone on Etsy. She also has a Facebook page too. I'm looking for the pattern. I'm Pattern Keeper. I started the August gnome, and that is what he's gonna look like when he's done. Isn't he adorable with the watermelon? I love it. So I am stitching them all on a 28 count white Monaco 1/1 full cross, and this is my starting point for him. I'm getting shadows. Let me hold it back here. It won't be as bad. Well, here. we'll go in a little bit so you can see. I got, let me put this right here. I got 500 stitches on him. Now I'm gonna hold him back a little bit. And so that's 500 stitches out of 8,327. And I am currently at, I didn't even plan this, but I'm at exactly 6%. So I got one more time to stitch on him, and then he will be traded out for another project. And I did not realize this. So last week, see, this is why I don't tell y'all what I plan on stitching. I just pull out what I want, what my whips for the week, because what I said last week was if I work on this one, this one, this one, this one, then I'll be able to cross them off the list and replace them all with something else. And did I work on any of those? No. I did not realize that until I was comparing my board that I showed you to the board I have to update, and I was like, none of these are going to get crossed off the list. Next up is from Hands-On Design. Oh my god, come here. And this is Star Spangled Swine Farm. I got this as a kit from one of my subscribers when she sent me a bunch of stuff. Yeah, Hands-On Design. And it comes with 3 patterns, but I am doing this one right here, the big one. It's really cute. I like how it's coming along. I'm so used to, it's funny because like the pickup truck right here, I'm so used to pumpkins like being in the trucks for like the fall pieces. I didn't realize, I was like, what's up with the pink? I didn't realize what it was until I was done stitching on it. I was like, oh my god, they're pigs. So anyway, I think I already have a picture up from the last time you saw it. And I'm doing this on a 14, let me get this right. So I'm just using whatever came in the kit. 14 count chalkboard black Ada from Witch Elf. And so this is where I'm at with it now. So I got the truck done and the grass underneath. And look at the little pigs. Aren't they adorable? I was so, like I said, I'm so used to there being like pumpkins and stuff in the back of these pickup trucks when they're in fall pieces. I did not even realize that they were pigs until I got up to their faces, so I wasn't really paying attention. But so I got the grass all under here. I finished the truck and the pigs. I have to put another rooster on the hood of the truck, and then that little section will be done, I believe. Looks like it. Besides the tree, of course. But I did 502 stitches to get that section done. And I'm using, it came as a kit, so I'm using all of the called for stuff. It's a combination of Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, and DMC. So, I started it this year. Oh no, my floss is falling out. I started it this year, but I have not worked on it yet for like the summer stitching that I was doing. So this is only going to get the first check mark. I started this like, I don't know, earlier in the year. I don't know when. Next thing I'm going to show you is from Stony Creek Collection. This is Summer in the Village. And this is what it's going to look like when it is done. I've seen a lot of people stitching this. I have all 4 of them started. I see a lot of people stitching this and they are all like, oh, I'm not gonna do the bottom border, like the phrase down here, because they don't like it or whatever, which is fine. I don't mind it, so I'm gonna do it. It says coffee. Summer is a lovely time of carefree play and sunny days, is what that quote says. So I will go ahead and stitch that once I get to it. And this is where it was the last time you saw it. I am doing this 2/2 on a 28 count even weave. I think, in the color African Daisy. I do not know who dyed it. I bought it on 123 Stitch and I liked the color. I didn't really pay attention to who dyed it. And that is where I'm at. I focused. So hold on. Here's what I have so far. And then what I decided to do was fold my fabric. Hold on. Fold my fabric unevenly. Trying to get it to where I actually worked on it. There we go. So I worked all over here. So I started doing the border of the bottom banner part where the phrase is. That is with the rest of this pattern calls for DMC, but the outline of the box here, the box is water lilies. Remember how I was bitching about watercolors? I know the difference between the two because this is water lilies. And this is the type of floss I thought I was going to get when I ordered the watercolors for that chocolate understands piece. And then I get that hot mess of yarn watercolors. But this is a silk, a variegated silk. And each one of those village patterns calls for different color silk for the box to the border. And I went ahead and got them all last year. So I went ahead and did this because I knew that I was going to want to backstitch these two things right here, and I needed those stitches in there so I could backstitch those without a problem. But I backstitched the light post because these are all like along the edge and everything. They were all quarter stitches and they were driving me nuts with how weird they were looking. So once I backstitched that, it looked really good. And then I was like, well, let me go ahead and do the picnic table too. And backstitch that. And those turned out super duper cute. I love the little picnic basket, boo-boo. And then I went ahead and finished the grass off over here and started in on the tree up here. So there's going to be some balloons that come out. And once I get those balloons done and get that tree done, then I'm planning ahead, like I'm going to be working on this a lot, and I'm not, because I've only got one more time to work on it before it gets switched out for something else. But honestly, I'll probably just get the balloons and that tree done, and then I'll probably just move on to other cross stitching. But what I wanted to do was backstitch that building right there. It is the dance studio, and I wanted to get that building backstitched because last year my goal was to cross stitch that building. So I was hoping to backstitch it, but I ain't gonna get to that. It's okay though. There's always next year with all my plans that I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this will be it. Every year I keep adjusting my crap, thinking maybe this will be it. Maybe this will be it. No, I feel like next year's plans, those are going to be it. This is what I'm going to be able to stick to. We'll see. Okay, next up is a piece from Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. It is Family Vacation. This is regular size, max color. It's 700 by 469. It has 237 colors. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I adore this piece. I know that when I stitch this, the signs are not going to be very legible. Like the sign, like, oh, go away, ring light. These signs here, like you can see them when you zoom in, you can see them. I know that when I stitch them, they're not going to be super legible. It's whatever. I don't care. Worst case scenario, I ain't gonna do this. But worst case scenario, I can backstitch the words on there. I ain't gonna do that, but I could. But I absolutely adore this piece. This is like the epitome of a summer family vacation. Like it really is. I absolutely love it. And every time I see this, I think of National Lampoon's Vacation from the 80s with Chevy Chase. I don't know who's seen it and who hasn't, but you know, you got the family truckster and you got, oh my God, what was that dog's name? What was that dog's name that like attacked everybody and got dragged behind the car? What was that dog's name? I don't remember. But it's just, you know, I really love it. And so I'm really going to enjoy watching this come along. But I'm doing this 1/1 full cross on this, I think it's like this 30 count. And I don't know if it's like Aida or even weave. I don't know. But it's this 30 count fabric that I bought from AliExpress. And I got a crap ton of it for like $100 and it works for what I want to use it for, which is full coverage patterns. Because it's going to, this is what it looked like when last time you saw it. I'm going to cover up what I've done. Hang on, because I just want to show you what the whole piece is going to fit on this. Like this is going to be the whole piece. That's not like size wise, that won't be too bad if I ever finish it, when I, you know, and I want to frame it or something. So that's okay. That's kind of like why I'm happy about that. But anyway, did I tell you on Summer in the Village how many stitches I did? I didn't. I did 600 on Summer in the Village, the one I just showed you. I just realized that, my bad. Okay, family vacation. So I'm doing this 1/1 full cross. You've seen the before picture, or you're seeing it right now. I don't know when I'm going to put it on. And I decided, you know, if you've seen the last couple weeks, you know that I've started jumping onto the diagonal train with full coverage pieces, really getting into it because I'm really loving how the picture is turning out, how you're seeing the picture, which I knew that's how it happened with diagonal stitching. It just, you know, because I've done it before, but it's just, I don't know. I just started doing it again and I was like, wow, I want all of my stuff to be in the diagonal now. So I got 532 stitches on this piece. Like I said, I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on this China fabric. And I'm converting it into the diagonal. So that's what this stitching over here, this was all from the first time I worked on it when I did a new start. And I'm already hitting the corner of the general store. I have a total of 932 stitches done out of 328,300, and I am at 0.28%. So super excited how this is coming along. In 1 second. So you saw that. So upper left-hand corner start, and that's basically what you're seeing right now. So yeah, you get to the fun stuff faster in the diagonal. I mean, you really do, which I think I've said before, but my problem before with the diagonal stitching was that when I was doing it with my tent stitch projects, I was noticing I was getting lines because my diagonals were running the same direction as the direction of my stitches, and so I stopped. But then I decided to do an experiment with this piece, which is the challenge I'm doing with Alara. And it seems to be working. I'm not getting lines with my diagonals on this now. So now I'm super duper excited. And now I'm converting everything to diagonals. All right, so this next piece I'm going to show you is, like I said, it's a challenge I'm doing with Alara. We each picked a full coverage piece that we, of our own choosing, didn't have to be the same one. Our original plan was to do 25K in 25 weeks. We were going to do 1,000 stitches a week for 25 weeks to get 25,000 stitches on our respective projects. Life happened, so we extended the deadline to just be basically like, we kind of gave up on the deadline. First we dropped it down to 500 a week. Now we're just like, all right, we just want to get 25,000 stitches. And neither one of us have actually said it, but I think we're both in agreement that it's like, yeah, get it done as soon as possible, but our deadline is going to be the end of the year. I'm almost there though. But my piece is from the Cross Stitch Studio, and this is Honeymoon Sunset. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It's 869 by 649. You'd think I would have these details memorized by now. And it has 133 colors, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is my most favorite piece. One more time, because it's so pretty. God, I really love it so much. This is a piece I would probably have professionally framed to hang on my wall as my background. I would change where I'm filming so that it would be in the background of where I was filming. So this is the piece that I first started, that I came up with the idea of, let me do an experiment, because this piece I have been stitching all kinds of ways. First I started in the diagonal, and I was noticing I was getting the line. So then I was doing cross country, and then I was like, well, let me then even though I'm not doing it on easy grid, I was getting paranoid that I was like going to run out of room. Even though it's easy grid, I can just count the blocks. So I worked my way across to the other corner, and then I was like, well, let me just work down to both corners. So now all 4 corners have been worked on, and I've been trying, I tried Royal Rose with this. I tried Royal Rose going across the top of the project. I tried Royal Rose going in columns, like horizontal Royal Rose. I was getting lines with that too. I don't do Royal Rose, before anybody else. I don't do Royal Rose because I find that I get lines no matter what, because you're working in columns. So I was doing typewriter method for a little bit, like Stitch a Mommy does. And then I decided to do the experiment with the diagonal stitch. I was trying to fill in a page at one point, but I decided to convert this to a diagonal where my diagonals were going in the opposite direction of my stitches, because I'm doing this intense stitch. I'm half cross. So I'm doing this 2/1 half cross on a 25 count easy count Lugana, and this is where it was the last time you saw it. And I did 1,007 stitches, and this is where I'm at with it now. So I got all of this I'll show more in a little bit. You know I will. But I got all of this diagonal filled in, and then I got to go back in and fill in these right here. But I converted this into a diagonal. So this diagonal will be done once I kind of get up right about here, because I had worked my way across the top. So these stitches obviously were already done. But yeah, so I got 1,007 stitches on it. So I'm currently at 192,270 stitches done. Let me move these out of the way. Out of 563,981, and I'm at 34.09%. I hit the 34%. I'm at 34.09%. Here's the whole piece, what I have done so far. I'll come in closer in a minute. But yeah. So we'll start over here. Tree from Hell. And scattered stitches going down. Got down to the bottom. Got that corner kind of worked in. Working in the middle where there's a sailboat coming in. Lighthouse coming in right here. Gazebo coming in right there. This right here is the house next to the lighthouse. And then got the bottom corner right there. And this right here, that's another mother effing palm tree coming in. I hate palm trees. I despise them. I hate them in person. I hate stitching them. And you know what is the funny thing? When I look out my craft room window right here into my backyard, there's a palm tree out there. Because I live in Florida, if you didn't know. For those who didn't know, I live in Florida. I'm surrounded by palm trees and I can't stand them. I think they're ugly. They're not pleasant to look at. I don't like them. I don't like stitching them either. They're a pain in the ass. So 34.09%. I'm so happy with this. It's still my favorite piece, even with all the palm trees coming in. And I'm really loving working this on the diagonal now. I really, really am. Like, I want to work on this all the time. I'm almost done with my challenge. I'll update my board in a minute here. I'm almost done with my challenge. And I think what I'm going to do is, because I have less than 2,000 stitches to get my 25K done. But I think what I'm going to do is I do have another piece that I need to replace as a focus piece because it's a smaller piece that my son would like me to do. He's been asking me since last year to stitch it for him. And he's like, can you do it next year? Because I told him I wasn't starting anything new last year. So I told him I would stitch it for him. And it's only like 6,600 stitches. So once I'm done with this challenge, I'm going to bring the other piece out and have that be my second focus piece, third if you count the Whip of Shame. But I'm still going to keep out Honeymoon Sunset and work on it. So you won't see it every week, but I will work on it sporadically here and there to get more stitches in on it because I'm really loving working on it, like a lot. So much so that I have big plans for it next year. Okay, last piece is my other focus piece, and this is from Heaven and Earth Designs. I am working on, I'm taking part in their stitch along that they're doing this year. Well, not Michelle, but like someone, I don't know. They're doing a stitch along this year. And it's closed, so if you haven't already joined, it is too late to join it. But we had 10 projects that 10 patterns we could pick from. They're all smalls, like 300 by 200 something. They range from like 60,000 to like 61,500 stitches. And so they're doable to complete in a year. They really are. The piece I chose was Merry Mushroom Village Picnic 2 by Amy Stewart. And this is a very small snippet of Merry Mushroom Village Picnic. That's the one I'm working on. It's 300 by 205 and it has a number of colors. 90. There's 90 colors. And parts 1, 2, and 3 have been released. Part 4 will be released in October. And for everyone who's doing this piece with me, our fourth piece is only a very small strip of stitches at the very bottom. If I complete 4 pages by the end of the year, I get all the charts that were offered for the SAL. If I can complete the piece by the end of the year, the whole thing, then I will get all the charts that were offered plus 2 free charts off of the Haid website of my choice. I've never finished a SAL, and I've never stayed caught up on a SAL, never finished one, and I have never finished a full coverage. So what did I decide to do? I decided I'm going to push myself to finish it because I want the free stuff, which, you know, there's a few of you that are like, I want the free stuff too. So I have been working this different ways because I figured out that if I do 1,200 stitches a week on it, that I would have it done by the end of the year. And I was staying caught up on it, and then I moved. And between the looking at houses, and packing and moving. I got behind on it, but I'm slowly getting caught back up. I'm getting caught back up. So those of you who are concerned, no need to worry, because when I mathed it out last night, if I do 1,283 stitches a week on it, then I will have it done by the end of the year. So I'm not that far behind. But I've been trying different methods of stitching on this, trying to find a good groove, like, color completing a small one and then doing a thread of the biggest color and then color completing a small amount of stitches, and then I was like going down the right hand side of the row, right column, picking symbols in a box and completing it, doing it that way, kind of like a typewriter method, but going down the side. And it was just like, I don't know, I was getting very frustrated with it. And I was chatting with Becky from Becky's Madness for Crafting, and she was like, I'm surprised you didn't convert, like, after last week's video, and I was converting everything to diagonal. She was like, I'm surprised you didn't convert your SAL to a diagonal. And I didn't in the beginning because it's tent stitch, and so I'd be working from the right hand side, because that's how I'm going to do all my diagonals for tent stitch now, is from the right, because my stitches go to the left. And I was like, well, I did it because the fourth installment, the final quarter, is at the bottom, and so I didn't want to, like, and then I thought about it, I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter, I'm going to go ahead and convert this to a diagonal. So this is where it was the last time you saw it, and I did 1,653 stitches on it since the last time you saw it. I converted it to a diagonal, and this is where I'm at now. I'll move these threads in a minute so you can see the rest of it, but this is where I'm at with it now. Ooh, that's looking good. And I am currently sitting at 32,393 stitches done. The entire piece is 61,500, but parts 1, 2, and 3 have been released. These are the numbers I'm going to go off of. Is 58,860. So for parts 1, 2, and 3, I am at 55.03%. And like I said, I am almost back to the 1,200 a week, and this would be done. So I'm going to keep working on this in the diagonal. And it's funny because it's turning into a triangle here, which I can show it to you like this. Hang on. It's turning into a triangle with the stitching. This is my diagonal over here. Look how sharp that's looking. And this is where I was working on before. It's like a teepee. But yeah, so I'm 55.03% done with parts 1, 2, and 3. And I calculated it out, and I want to say I'm about 52% done overall with all 61,500 stitches. So I'm happy with how this is coming along. I'm actually enjoying working on it again. So I'm stoked. And I didn't tell you, I'm doing it 2/1 tent stitch, half cross, whatever, on a 28 count easy count Lugana. And I have a whole other piece of fabric that I'll be able to use for something else. And a whole section down here I'll be able to use for something else, because this is the bottom of the piece. And that's how wide it is. So that's it. So yeah, I'm happy working on it again, which is great, because I was like not looking forward to pulling it out. I was getting tired of it. So, okay, next, ow, I just ran over my toe. Oh. Okay, so next up, let's update my boards real quick. Okay. Okay, got my Blue's Clues marker. Marker as big as my head. I still have my dried out one over here. I don't know if it was really drying out or if it's just because I was trying to color a really big thing, like going across. It's not so, this one here, it's not so obvious on the camera, but you can see through it. Well, you can see through it in person, but that's fine. Okay, so let's get this thing updated, shall we? Okay, first thing I'm gonna check off. Oh, somebody pointed out to me, last week I did not, thank you, I don't remember who it was now. Someone pointed out that I did not check off clouds over Verlandy last week, so let's do that real quick. Okay, all right, first thing I'm gonna check off is family vacation, which is right here. I don't know how I missed clouds last week. Blessed Nest is Whip of Shame, Honeymoon Sunset, Mushroom Village, Star Spangled Swine Farm. Oh, of course, is over here where I can't reach it. Oh, shit. What's happening? Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Star Spangled Swine Farm. Right here. And then Summer in the Village is right here. See what I mean? Like nothing I worked on, I've already worked on for the summer. And then Year of Gnomes August is right here. You see it? Barely. Right there. Hey Gracie, where's Mr. Whiskers? There we go. So there's that. Okay. I just realized I didn't add my projects that I replaced last week. The 3 I pulled, I didn't add them to that board. I'll have to do that. Okay. My other board, my much smaller one, I did not realize when I bought this one for the summer stitching, I did not realize that it was not a smaller board like this. I thought they were all that bigger one, and they're not. So I have no finishes to add to my list. Okay, so I did another 1,000 stitches on Honeymoon Sunset, so we're going to color in another block. And hey, so we colored in another block. And you'll see, because we'll update my other board, but I have less than 2,000 stitches, like a little bit less than 2,000 stitches. And then Merry Mushroom Village Picnic 2. I did 1,200 stitches on it. Now each one of these blocks here represents 1,200 stitches. I did 1,600 stitches actually, but I needed another 200, and it was getting late to get to the 1,800. But I'm gonna go ahead and fill this block in here, and I will make a note on my other board that if I can get an extra 200 on my stitching, that will finish off this block right here, this half filled one. But each one of these blocks represents 1,200 stitches, and there's 52 of them because my original plan was to do 1,200 stitches a week to get the thing done. Girl, if you knock my floss over, I swear to God. Get. No. This cat, I swear, she is such a little punk. So, stop. And she always sounds like she's being tortured, and she's not. Stop it. But yeah, each one of those blocks represents 1,200 stitches because Mr. Whiskers, my favorite. You see, I just dropped her like a hot potato because my boy's here. Oh, hey, Mr. Whiskers. Hey, baby. He always looks mad, but he's not. But yeah, okay. For the millionth time, 1,200 stitches per block. So each half block is 600 stitches. So I'm gonna make a note that if I can get, say 1,400 stitches, an extra 200 or whatever, we'll get it figured out. I love you. Say hey again. Hey. Look how mad he looks. And he ain't mad. He might be mad because he wants his nose. He wants his lickable treat. But Anyway, okay, I have to put you down. I have work to do. Okay, before I update my board though, my final board, before I update that, now I got cat hair. Let's review what the options are for next month's Whip of Shame. My tally is on that board, so that's why I'm like, wait, let's go over this real quick, because my totals are on it right now. So I want you guys to pick the Whip of Shame for the month of August. I drew the two pieces, I drew names out of a hat for the two contenders last video. I'm going to show them to you again, just in case you haven't voted yet. If you've already voted, don't vote again. But honestly, I'm not tracking it. So if I don't recognize your name, I'm not going to realize you already voted, and you could potentially vote twice. But don't be that person. So the first one up is a Jan Ling kit from 2001. And this is Once Upon a Time. And I'm just using whatever came in the kit, but I do have to order some replacement stuff because I'm missing some of the DMC, which I already have that because I have a full set, but I'm missing the metallic threads, the blending filament, and the beads. So I've got to figure all that out, what all I need, so I can order it. And I'm doing it 2/2 on a 28 count white Monaco, and that is my starting point for it. And the other one is a Dimensions Gold collection. So they're both fancy pieces. It's kind of funny. They're both fancy pieces. They have about the same, they're about the same starting point, I think. This one might be a little bit further along. They're about the same age because this one's from 2002. Magnificent Wizard. And again, whatever came in the kit. I actually have all the materials for this one though. And it's on a 16 or 18 count Black Ada. $18 count Black Ada. And it's my starting point for that. I'd say probably about the same starting point. This is the edge of the piece right here, I believe, or almost to the edge. So I was telling you guys, vote in the comments which ones you want, which one you would want to see me do, right? And so voting is open until the end of the month. Because I will put away Bless This Nest and pull out the winner on August 1st. And get started on that, and then you will see it on August 2nd when I film again, which one won. It is really close, really close. Like I was reading comments and it was like, you know, I would make a tally mark and heart the comments so I knew which ones I had already counted. And it was like Once Upon a Time, Once Upon a Time, Once Upon a Time, and then it was like a bunch for Magnificent Wizard. And it was like going back and forth, right? And then at one point it was 37 votes for Magnificent Wizard and 38 votes for Once Upon a Time. And then yesterday, 2 more people commented and voted, and they both voted for Wizard. So as of right now, Magnificent Wizard has 39 and Once Upon a Time has 38. I mean, it is close. The last time I had you guys vote was for the one for the month of June, which was Cuddly Bear Quilt versus the Irish Blessing. And that one was like maybe 15 people voted for Irish Blessing, and then there was 80 something votes for Cuddly Bear Quilt. Like this is like nail bitingly close. 39 and 38, like holy cow, it is right down the middle. I think it helps that it's like one's on black fabric, one's on white fabric, one's on Ada, one's on even weave. They're both about the same age. They both have about the same amount of progress on it. They're both equal. They are equal in my opinion. So yeah. It'll be really interesting to see if this is how it's going to end up, because I don't know how many people haven't already voted for it, or what. But yeah. All right, so let me update this stuff here. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so let me erase this clouds, wrong end. Let me erase this clouds thing, so I don't need that no more because I crossed it off. Okay. I need my calculator. Where is it? Here it is. All right. So for the whip of shame, Bless This Nest was at clear 2208, and I did 611 stitches on it so far this week. So this needs to be updated. I do with my red marker. Here it is. This needs to be updated to 2819. And then the Hate Sal, whoopsies, oh, the Hate Sal, these two right here are counting down. I almost just made a boo-boo on that and put how many I have on there already. So the Hate Sal, we're counting down. So last week I needed 30,761. And I've done 1653. So now I am down to needing 29,108 stitches to finish that off. And then the Honeymoon Sunset was at 3,004, and I did 1,007. So I need to finish this challenge. I need 1,997 stitches. That's exciting. I don't get any, well, we're gonna buy stuff for each other on 1-2-3 Stitch, me and Alara. But like, I don't win anything for it really, except presents from my friend. Hang on, I have like, you know, the things from the yard that get stuck on your clothes. I had some on me. The shirt's clean, but it was apparently on my shirt and I didn't realize it, and then I threw it in the washer and they stayed on it. Let me just get rid of those there. Okay. I just realized I forgot my basket. Hang on one second. Okay. I could have just gotten up and gotten it because I keep it in that closet right there behind me, but then, you know, you'd have to like see my fat ass and everything, so. All right, let's go ahead and pick out, let's go ahead and pick out 10 projects. I was thinking if I wanted to pick out less, but we'll go ahead and do 10. Give me options. The downside about having cats and wearing lip gloss, so I don't look like Death Warmed Over. Okay, first up is, now I need that over there, damn it. Spanish Sampler. This will be a new start. Hang on one second, talk amongst yourselves. So this is out of an old book that I have, I think. Hang on, did I grab the correct book? Hang on. So this will be a new start, and I have it written on my card here where the pattern is. I don't remember if it's this book or the other one that's over there, so hang on a second. Yep, I got the right one. Okay, I have Cross Stitch in 101 Best Loved Designs by Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. I got this book for the sole purpose of doing Amid Amish Life. Have I started it yet? No, I have not. I also was debating on doing the creepy girl on the back here, because I tried working on her a couple times as I was growing up, and I kept messing up with my counting and stuff because I wasn't a very experienced stitcher, and there's like specialty stitches in her and everything like that. And now and then she has a creepy brother. But I kind of want to do her just to prove that I can now. But anyway, Spanish Sampler is going to be a new start, and it's out of this book. And, okay, so there's the piece. Where is the photo? Page 36. One moment. I need something to cover up. Maybe I can just come in from this direction right here. It's going to be kind of hard to see. But that's what it's going to look like. And I just think it looks really cool. So, yeah. I'm going to, there was a part of a mid-Amish life on the other side. So that's why I was trying to hold it up a certain way. But I'm going to be doing it on .28 count casual linen. I have to double check white in the color white. I have to double check on, I know I normally don't stitch on linen. However, this was a piece of, by Zweigart. This was a piece of fabric I picked up at the craft store. And I want to say that this is going to fit if I do it over 2. I just have to double check my measurements. And apparently do something with this edge. Look at that. I need to do something with that before it frays too much. Am I going to do it? Time will only tell. Because you know I don't usually do anything extra to my fabric. I just let it fray away. But I just have to double check the measurements. Yeah, oh no, I did. I'm gonna do it over 2. It's exciting. I just don't know if I'm gonna do it a center start. I don't know if I'm gonna do a center start or if I'm gonna start in the corner, but there are specialty stitches in it. There's, ooh, maybe I'll do a corner start, because then I start off with a 4-sided back stitch, which is basically like an open box, which I did on a previous project and I thought was a lot of fun. So I might do a corner start. But there's, I don't know why I'm talking about all this now, but there's satin stitch, large Algerian eyelet, large, medium, and small Algerian eyelets, a diamond eyelet, a four-sided back stitch, overcast back stitch. There's beads that I have to get. I need red seed beads. Back stitch, straight stitch, a French knot, and bullion knot. A lot of specialty stitches now, but it looks really neat. So I'm excited. Okay, next up. Peacock Gnome. This is from cutebroidery.com. This is a whip. And I want to say this is one of the pieces that I didn't write on my board to be a replacement piece. Pretty sure. I'll have to go back to my other video and just skip to the end so I can see, just double check. This is Peacock Gnome. Like I said, it's from cutebroidery.com. And I'm stitching it on a 14 count Charles Craft Aida in one of those rolls of printed that you can, I picked this up at Joann's. And that's my starting point. I have no idea how many stitches I have on it right now because I don't. But yeah. I've not worked on it yet this year. I do know that much. All right, next up. Ooh, picking up multiples. There we go. Next up is, Family Vacation. The piece I just showed you already. So this would be the second time it gets worked on. I don't really need to pull it out. I'm not going to show you because I just showed you and I'll show my whips. But the piece from Heaven and Earth Designs that reminded me of National Lampoon's Vacation. Oh, okay. So this is another piece that Hedgehog did this to me last week. I think it was. Chocolate Understands. I finished this already. So we're going to put that right there. So what I do is I'll keep my papers out and then I'll edit my video. And then as it's like exporting for me to upload to YouTube, I go ahead and update my whiteboard that I track my stitches on for the week. I go ahead and update that, and then I throw all my pieces back into the basket so that I don't lose them, because I have no reason to keep them out after I get my board listed out. So if I complete something, it's still in the basket until I draw it out. Okay. Mini Sunset Lighthouse. This is from Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Dominic Davison. And it's like 325 by 232. So I'm doing it on a 14 count, like ivory Aida. That's what I had. I wanted to get started on it because it was like one of the first full coverage patterns I had ever bought a long time ago. And I was super excited to start, and I didn't want to wait for fabric. So I just started it on this, and this is my starting point. I'm currently at 15%. And I'll probably convert this back into a diagonal. I had started doing this in a diagonal in the very beginning. Then I converted to cross country, and I'm probably going to convert it back into a diagonal again if I work on it this week. Okay, next up, yes, Summer Sampler. I was just thinking about this. I was binge watching Blitz Stitch, like all his old videos. I went back to the very first one. So I just wanted something that I could like listen to and not pay attention, because I've already seen all his stuff. And so I just wanted something I could just like not pay attention to. I was like, let me go back to like his stuff from the very beginning and just watch it again, because he has a very calming voice to me. And he was working on Winter Sampler way back in the day. And I was like, man, I want to work on one of my sampler pieces so bad, because I have all 4 of the samplers from Cooler Design Studio. But the only one I have out to work on right now is Summer Sampler. I was like, man, I hope I pick it soon because I really want to work on it. So this is Summer Sampler. Artwork is by Sandy Orton. I will say you will be seeing this next week, because I've been wanting to work on this for like 4 days now. And I'm doing it on a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco 2/2. And that is my starting point. This was a restart. I was a lot further along with this than I had done a center start, but I hated the fabric I was working on. So I got new fabric and restarted it. And that's where I got with it last year. It was a restart last year. So where am I going to go with it? I'm not sure. I'll probably convert this into a... You know, and he does Blitz Stitch does all of his stitching on the diagonal. That's actually where I learned about diagonal stitching, was from him. And he even, like, when he was doing Winter Sampler, he was working in a diagonal. And I was like, you know, kind of tempted to convert one of my non-full coverages into a diagonal too. I am like on this crazy diagonal kick right now. I want everything at diagonals. Okay. Oh, U.S. Quaker flag. I pulled the Norwegian Quaker flag last week, but I didn't work on it. But I also have the U.S. Quaker flag. And this is from Vivsters, if I can ever find it. Maybe. What the F is it? Hang on. Where is it? OMG. I wonder if I have it under... What the F is it? Do I have it under Q for Quaker? I think I do. I did. I had it under Q for Quaker instead of U for US. Okay. So this will be a new start. I have the Norwegian flag started, but this is from Vivsters. Oh my God, I've got bags everywhere. Oh my God. Hang on. They're everywhere. They're all over. Okay. There's a big sale going on right now. She's got so many different country flags mapped out with the Quaker tiles. And I'm doing the US one because I live in the US. And then I'm also doing the Norwegian one because I'm 50% Norwegian. So, yay. And I will be doing it 2/2. I don't like stitching on linen. I have a start that's going to be on linen, and this is also going to be on linen. This is a 36 count vintage country mocha Edinburgh linen. And you know, I was saying before when I was talking about the Norwegian flag, it's going to look really good. I wanted something that was a little bit dark to kind of help the white pop off the fabric, and I think that's going to look really good. I was mentioning because I don't like working on linen, so I try to avoid it when I can, but I'm doing both of these Quaker flags on linen, and I think it was because I wanted the size of it to not be ginormous. This is already big enough for a flag, and I was like, well, I'm doing it over 2, but I need the 36 count, so it's not, so I didn't have to buy a fat half of like a 32 count. Which I could have gotten in like an even weave or Jobelin or whatever. Lugano or Jobelin. But I got 36 count, and which is linen. And I was like, I could have gotten it in an 18 count Aida, but I think when I was looking, the color I was wanting was not available. So impatient me, instead of waiting, went ahead and just got the linen because I could get the color I wanted right then, even though that was last year and I haven't started it yet. So, earlier this year at least, I don't know. Anyway, that'll be a new start. Okay, how many is that? 2, 3, 4, 6, 4 more. Next up is the Amazonian, and this is a full coverage piece that I started in June from the Cross Stitch Studio. Is it this one? Yep. Cross Stitch Studio, and where is it? Pattern Keeper developers, please give us the option of sorting our projects alphabetically. Amazonia, 400 by 490. It has 107 colors, and it is, I want to say it's an AI image, I think, romance art. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing it 2/110 stitch on the diagonal from the right on a 28 count easy count Lugano. Oh, let me show the right direction. I was going to show it to you like this because I'm so used to left-handed starts, but this is a right start. This is a right corner start. So let me show you the correct way. So there's my starting point, and I am currently at 0.42%. So there's that. We have a hard time picking projects this week because I've got a lot of them that I really want to work on. So I'm excited so far, and I still got 3 more projects to choose from. Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure Peyton. So cutting cross stitch last year, I gotta reach back here for the bag. Cutting cross stitch last year had, by the way, if you see this right here, this is a tote bag I picked up at Barnes & Noble like almost 10 years ago on clearance for like $5 because it was considered a Christmas bag, and I got it after Christmas. So I keep all of my projects in it that I'm going to be working on that week. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. When it was on clearance, it was like 75% off or something. I was like, what? Let me get that. So anyway, Cutting Cross Stitch put out a Stitch Your Own Adventure back in 2020 for Harry Potter. And I'm trying to pick the right one. I'm doing 3 different versions of it. I'm going to show you the mock-up of the parchment outlines because every piece is going to be different because it's a choose your own adventure. Like the choose your own adventure books from back in the 80s, maybe 70s too, but I grew up in the 80s, so that's when I read it. So I'm doing one for me, one for each of my kids. So this is the starting point for Peyton's. I have the outline of parchment 1 and parchment 6 completed. I don't know if I'm going to do I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to just keep working parchment outlines or if I'm going to start working on maybe parchment 6, which I think is the Patronus. Or if I'm going to work on parchment 1, which is his house flag. I'm letting my kids choose their houses because when they did the quiz online, they were both placed in Hufflepuff and they were not happy. One wants to be in Gryffindor, the other wants to be in Slytherin. But it's kind of neat because they go to a charter school. They go to a K through 12, and when they were in elementary school, the middle school and high school part doesn't do this, but the elementary school side does. They have their school divided into 4 houses, much like Harry Potter, and they each have their own flag. They have the flags hanging from the ceiling in the cafeteria, all the flags. They do this huge party. They have house points. The end of the year, the house with the most points gets this big old pizza party. It's the coolest thing. Absolutely love it. I am all for it. And then there's like certain days they could wear their house color. It's really cool. But my little one, this was his last year in elementary school. He goes into the middle school part next year, and they don't do the houses. And then my older one is going into high school over there. So we're done with the houses at the school. Makes me kind of sad. Okay. Compass. What number is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is number 9. Compass. This is from Maya Stitch on Etsy. I want to say on her Etsy shop, this is actually called Rose of the Wind, I believe. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is another piece that I'm doing it on the 14 count printed Charles Craft Ada that's printed. Picked up a roll of it at Joann's. And this is my starting point with it. I'm working in the first page, which is why there's like such a harsh line right there. And I'm trying to do the back stitching as I go on it. That's why some of it's back stitched. But yeah, that's my starting point for that. It's gonna be really pretty when it's done. All right. Last one. I hope it's a good one. I hope it doesn't suck. But even if it does suck, I've got some really kick-ass projects to pick from, so I'm okay if it sucks. But it doesn't suck. Calendar Girls July. I am slowly chipping away at all these calendar girls. Where are they? Where are they? Here they are. I finished June, I finished August. I've got a bunch of them started. I do not have July started, so this is not going to be a finish. For all of you getting excited about me finishing all these calendar girls, they're about 1,500 stitches each, approximately, from what I've done so far on them. And I have not even started her yet. So this will not be a finish, but I'm going to do her on a 32 count Legacy Lugana from Picture This Plus, 2/2. That's the fabric. So she'll be a new start. So I have a few new starts. Whoopsies. I have a couple samplers. I got my 2 full coverage focus pieces. I have there's gonna be a lot to show next week because I want to work on all this stuff. So I might try to knock out a few hundred here and there. Like over the weekend, maybe do like 500 on one piece, 500 on another, 500 on another, just so I can like get more pieces worked on. Because I actually do want to work on all of these projects here. So and then also I'm going to be switching my Whip of Shame. So if you haven't voted yet, get them votes in because voting will close at the end of the month, and it is currently Magnificent Wizard has 39 and Once Upon a Time has 38. So it's a very tight race. I'm excited to see which one is going to win, and you will see it at my next video because I will have about 100 stitches in on it, because I will start working on it on Thursday and then I'm filming on Friday. So, I'm gonna go ahead, if you've stuck with me so far, you're gonna get a little bit of a treat because people have been pestering me about my plans. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know what my plans are kind of gonna be, but I will do a video at the end, towards the end of the year, talking about my plans more. Once, that way if I have any other changes, I can go ahead, and it'll be a whole separate video so that it's not mixed in with the Flosstube. But I'm gonna go ahead and like kind of mention my plans right now. But if people usually turn my videos off once I show my whips, and they're SOL. So right now, what my plan's gonna be is I'm going to have a select number of whips. I'm going to pare down the amount that I work on, but I plan on switching them out later on in the year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 10 full coverage pieces and 10 non-full coverage pieces. Okay, not done yet. 5 from each of those, so 5 full coverage and 5 non-full coverage, are going to be projects that I am like, I want to work on this, I want to work on this, I want to work on this, right? And then the other 5 are going to be a random draw, so I'll do that at the end of the year, around the time of my whip parade, because I'm going to have all my stuff out, so it'll be easier to grab those pieces out. my full coverage pieces, I want to get 10,000 stitches each on them. And that's why I said I will switch them out later in the year. My full coverage pieces, I want to get 10,000 stitches on them. And that's going to be regardless if they're full cross or 10 stitch. 10,000 is 10,000. So 10,000 stitches on my full coverage pieces. And then my non-full coverage pieces, I want to get 5,000 stitches on them before they get replaced with something else. Once a project is ready to be replaced, once it hits its goal, if it was one that I picked, then I will pick the replacement. If it's one that was a random pick, then we will do another random draw to pick its replacement. If the non-full coverage piece gets its 5,000 stitches and it is close to a finish at that point, then it's going to go into because I'm going to have like 4 baskets total. I'm going to have my full coverage and my non-full coverage. So if the non-full coverage gets its 5,000 stitches done and it is almost at a finish, which means to me the finish would be that if I worked on this for another 5,000, it would be done or less. It will go into the 3rd basket, which will be my work on these until they're finished basket. So that's going to be, which I will kind of start determining when I'm filming my whip parade, which pieces will go into said basket, into the finished basket. Now they're not gonna, I was originally going to be like, oh, well, I'll pull 2 out and I'll keep them out until I finish them. And then once they get finished, I'll replace it with another piece. Well, I was going to do that, and then I started thinking about what I did earlier this year, I think it was, where I had focus on a finish, and I did not focus on them at all. I kept putting them off to the side. So I will have a basket full of projects that are less than 5,000, because a lot of them are going to be smalls and not, I will be kind of estimating how many stitches are left unless I have them in Pattern Keeper. So projects that I think would be finished in less than 5,000 stitches will be in the finished basket. And then I will have a 4th basket of new starts. Okay. I'm not doing no new starts. I can't do it. I will end up like I did this year, where I had 5,000 new starts and just piling on. I think when I did my mid-year whip parade, I had what, 70 something new starts, I think. I don't know, it was a lot. What just happened? I don't know, that was weird. Anyway, my tablet just went white on me. You're gonna have to sit here with me for a minute while I figure this out. So I'll have the full coverage, the non-full coverage, the sorry, my screen went white and it was like slowing down. I was like, what in the world is happening? Oh, I think I turned my camera on, because now my camera's popped up on my continue. I think I had the camera on and the camera's blocked because of this right here. Because of this, my camera's blocked. So, oh, that was scary. Okay, anyway. So if my non-full coverage looks like it's going to be a finish when the 5,000 stitches are done, then it will get put into the finished basket, and I will still replace it with something else. And then like I said, as the pieces get to their goals, they're going to be switched out for something else. And then my new starts, I will pull 1 per week. I won't necessarily start it if I don't feel like it, but it will be there if I want to start it. And my new starts basket will be anything that is kitted up and ready to go, or something that I could start, and I still need to get some fancy floss or something for it, but I could go ahead and get start on it. So that'll basically be any of the new starts that I had slated for this year that I have not started yet, plus any patterns I have already waiting in the wings that, you know, because I have some kits that I got that aren't in my list to work on right now. And I have some patterns that I just need to match up with some fabric, and they would be ready to go. So any new starts I have ready to go. And so if I get stuff throughout next year that can be thrown into that new start basket, it will be. Like once the new year starts, I'm not going to not add to that basket anymore. But any new starts that I do start on will get 3,000 stitches. That's going to be their goal. And then you two need to stop. And then they will be thrown into the full coverage or non-full coverage, whichever one. So once they hit their new start of 3,000 stitches, then they will be thrown into either full coverage or non-full coverage, whichever one they are, and then they will still be up for grabs to be pulled to be a replacement project, which would give them an additional 5,000 stitches. Unless it's a really small start, unless it's a really small start, like any of the Calendar Girls pieces that I haven't started yet, those would be in the new start basket. Well, they're only 1,500 stitches, so they're gonna get done before that 3,000 is up. But if I get the 3,000 stitches and it's almost a finish because it's a small piece, then I would go ahead and throw it in the finish basket. So full coverage would be 10,000 stitches on each of them. Non-full coverage is 5,000 stitches on each of them. Finishes is anything that would be, I'm estimating less than 5,000 stitches to finish off. And then new starts will be 3,000. If the new starts and then they would get put into either full coverage or non-full coverage to be replacements in the future. Anything from new starts or the non-full coverage, I'm not including full coverage because none of my pieces are at that point, but anything from non-full coverage or new starts that would be less than 5,000 stitches to finish, once their goal is hit, they will go into the finish basket. And each week I will pull 2 from the full coverage basket, 2 from the non-full coverage basket, 1 from the finish pile, and 1 from the new start pile. I like options, but I'm going to try that amount first. So that'd be 2, 4, 5, 6. And I got one more I haven't talked about yet. 2, 4, 5, 6 projects to pick from to get these big goals done. And I am not going to do the whip of shame, because the whip of shame honestly would be less stitches than working on it for the 5,000 for the non-full coverage pieces, right? So I'm not going to do the whip of shame next year. We'll see how that goes. Because I have such a high focus on a smaller number of pieces, I think it would be better to just do this. But that last piece that I haven't talked about yet will be Honeymoon Sunset. I was going to include it in the 10 full coverage pieces, but I changed my mind. It's going to be separate. I'm going to keep that out all year. I'm still estimating I'm going to hit 34.5% on this piece by the time I get done with my challenge. And then I'm going to keep it out all year to continue working on it whenever. Like, it won't be every week, but whenever I feel like working on it, I'll keep it out for the rest of this year. And then next year, I'm going to set a goal to get it to at least 40%. Which is going to be, when I did the math, it was going to be about 33,000 stitches plus. Like, and when I say plus, I mean like 33,192 or something like that, you know? So it's going to be about 33,000 stitches. And when I did that math, I was sitting at 800 stitches completed, so I still had 2,200 stitches to go to finish off my 25K, which would bring that total, because if I mathed again, that would bring that total down to about 30,500. I've already done almost 25,000 and we're in July. So I was like, you know what? This is completely doable, especially if I have that piece and then only 6 other projects to pick from. I could totally get that done very easily. So next year, my goal will be to get it to at least 40%. That's like my dead set goal. I want to get it to 40%. And if I hit that, so that would be increasing it by 5.5% next year. And if I get it to 40% and I still have time left at the end of the year, I'm going to keep it out and I'm going to keep on working on it, because my long-term plan for this is that in 2026, if I can easily get it to 40%, 2026, I'm going to push myself and I want to see if I can get it to 50% in 2026. But these goals, I feel like these are going to be good long-term goals for me. Like long-term, another cat here. I think that this is going to be good long-term. Oh God, what am I trying to say? I think I might be able to stick to this, because I'm going to have a good chunk of progress on these pieces by the time their goal is done, not no 500 stitches, right? And so I'll have a good chunk of progress on each one of these pieces that I work on. I'm going to be more focused because it's going to be a smaller number of projects that I'm going to be choosing from. I'm still going to get my new starts in. I still plan on getting finishes in. And then I also, my concern was, am I going to be able to stick with this and not be wanting to work on other stuff? However, I also came to the realization that once I get these stitches completed, if it's something that's a random draw, I'll randomly draw it. But if it's something that I had picked at the beginning of the year, then I get to pick the next project that comes into play. So I feel really good about all these plans. And yeah, so I'm excited for next year. But that's why I started doing things the way that I'm doing now, where I'm just picking from all the projects I have to pick from for the rest of the year, instead of switching over to winter or to fall stitching in September. I'm just going to keep going like this so that I could maybe pull some replacement pieces that are fall and winter related by the end of the year, so they don't get gypped and not worked on. Plus I have all the pieces I haven't worked on yet in the replacement basket whenever I get things checked off on my board over here. So again, I will have another video, separate video, talking about my plans later on in the year. There's still a few details that I might change or I might not change, I'm not sure. But so far, I think these are pretty solid plans, and I think that these might actually be finally the ones that I stick with. I think. You know how I am. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them in the comments section down below. And if you like what you had to see and you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And that's it. So take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.